Alrighty, training YouTube members, hope you guys are well. I just wanted to answer a question tonight that is a question that I've been getting a fair bit recently, and it's one of the questions that I think is relevant to a lot of you guys, a lot of people who are aspiring to become better arm wrestlers, and regardless of where they're at in their career, this is a question that you often ask yourself. Now, the question is, if you had to start again from the beginning, what would you change, and would you have a different routine? And I want to address that. The way I began, my first year and a half in the sport, I really had very little guidance from anyone. I just watched the elites on YouTube, and I tried to mimic them. I didn't even have many people to get table time with. I would shadow box in my mind, and I would pull against bands, and I would try to replicate the positions that I would see from these elites. Now, the purpose of me doing that at the time was to establish neurological efficiency. It wasn't necessarily to get strong. I found it more important to move better and to move correctly and well and efficiently. I thought that was a bigger priority. I thought that strength will come in time. Get your patterns down first and foremost. So I stick by that. There are more efficient ways of doing it than what I did. Obviously, if you have a good team with you, you have many diverse arm wrestlers around you, it's going to be something that is going to help expedite that process. But for me at the time, that's all I had, so I was pretty happy with that. But obviously, strength is an important thing as well, and you do need to have a solid program from the beginning, and I didn't have that in my first few years. It took me quite a long time before I really got introduced to a proper strength routine. I was a table time guy for the first 4 years of my arm wrestling career. I almost exclusively did table time with Jordan Davis, and once a week with a bunch of other arm wrestlers. But predominantly it was with Jordan Davis. We would do table time almost 5 days a week, and we would scale our relative effort down so that we didn't get injured or fatigued or hurt. And we would experiment with positions and look for all of the ranges of motion and the different ways that you can move. And again, searching for efficiency in position as opposed to strength. I really do believe in that. That was really good. If you can take that approach with more varied people, the reward's going to be significant. So then, after that season of a lot of table time with Jordan, I started with Todd Hutchins, and I started lifting heavy things in a more simplistic sense, following the conjugate method applied to arm wrestling, which really did condition my elbow. My elbow is now in a great place. It's really, truly conditioned to a degree that I was nowhere near some 3 or 4 years ago. And I believe that to be a very efficient way of developing the strength. So that gives you kind of the context of my journey in my 8.5 years. Now, in answering what would I do, reflecting on what I know now, if I was to begin again or recommend for one of you guys what to do from the beginning, it would be this. I currently like to have one heavy session a week. Ideally, the heavy session is with arm wrestlers. Now, the old John Brzenk approach of just arm wrestle, do nothing else, will work if you have the right people around you. It won't work if you have weak people around you only, or no talented arm wrestlers around you. But if you do have a solid club around you, then one heavy table time session where you're putting in genuinely your maximum effort in an offensive sense is really important. Practice your center table starts, your aggression off the go, your explosive power. All of that is a really big and beneficial and necessary factor. You'll treat that session as though it's a 1RM session. Even though you're not going to get numbers to record, to write down, what it's doing to your musculature and your nervous system is going to be very similar to that of a 1 rep max session under the conjugate method. So you can treat table time like a 1RM session. Now, I want you to also get another table time session in that week, and that's going to be a technical session where you are arm wrestling at about the 30 to 50% maximum effort. You're not pinning anyone, you're not overwhelming anyone, and you should be able to do this with anyone of any strength. You're going to arm wrestle in a balanced way, and you're going to dance on the table. You're going to float around, you're going to experience positions, you're going to shadow box, you're going to think slowly and carefully and let your body learn how to arm wrestle in all the variety of positions that there are. that's the combat side of things. That's what I did with Jordan for 4 years. That's what made me the technical arm wrestler that I am. And I that's a rabbit hole that just keeps on going. So I want one table session of that per week as well. That's also going to be an amazingly rehabilitative session. There is a third table time session that I would recommend per week. And that's a session where it's not light, it's not maximum effort, but what you're going to do is you're going to grip up with a bunch of people, ideally. Ideally, a bunch of people that are weaker than you, and you're going to stay on the table for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 25 minutes, whatever it is. You're not going to get off the table until they're pinning you. And you're not going to be pinning them. You're going to hold them until they give up. Hold them till they give up. Hold them till they give up. And until one of them is finally, or till 2 or 3 or 4 in a row are finally pinning you and you can no longer hold them. I like that for a static session. That's like a volume session when it comes to the conjugate method. So what you'll see that I've done is I've taken the table time concept and applied it over what Todd Hutchins has taught me on how to get strong. Those are the 3 core table time sessions I would do. If you can't get that quality table time, yes, do it with cables, do it with handles, do a 1RM day, do a volume day, and do a speed day. But ideally, table time is going to be best. Now, every other day, and almost not only every other day, but every day, put a podcast on. Set yourself up at a table with a cable and your favorite handle, and sit there and put like 15 kilos on there and rep that thing for an hour whilst you're listening to a podcast. Which handle you choose is going to be dependent upon which vulnerability or weakness you're trying to fix in your hand at the time. Pronation, wrist flexion, finger flexion, supination, whatever it might be. You're going to sit there and rep a light weight for hundreds and hundreds of reps. And when the lactic acid gets too much, take a 30-second break, keep going. I believe that really does increase your conditioning. It conduces, it's conducive to rehabilitation. And it also, I believe, it strengthens your neurological efficiency and just gets your hand and wrist stronger. I really do believe the hand and wrist doesn't need huge amounts of heavy work, and it benefits quite significantly from the lightweight and high repetition stuff. And the only other thing that I would add to the day throughout the week is a lightweight bodybuilding routine simply for the health of your joints. Okay, arm wrestling is such a closed-in sport where everything's moving forward, internal rotation of our shoulders. We need to balance it as much as we can. So external rotation, face pulls, lat rows, pull-ups, all those sorts of things. Just do a generalized bodybuilding routine. Tricep extension's a big one for the elbow pain that you'll experience from arm wrestling. So just looking to achieve balance. Again, nothing heavy. You're not trying to set new PRs, not trying to set records. You're simply getting balance for your body. Yeah, that's pretty much it. If I had to answer right now what would be the perfect training program to begin with from day one, I feel like that would be it. That's what I would do anyway. And that might evolve over the next few years, and I'll keep, as people keep asking me that question, I'll keep on answering it, and it'll probably evolve. But that's my answer right now, and that's what I currently endeavor to do within my own program. And it's working great. My conditioning is nice, my rehabilitation's good, my strength goes up consistently. But undoubtedly, table time is the key. You need to get high quality table time as often as you can. Alright guys, let me know what you think about that one. Leave a comment. If you've got any questions, I'll have a look at them and try to answer them as well. But I hope you guys are well, and thanks again for being in the members area.